Let's get into Brandon Sklenar on the It Ends With Us drama. Now, Brandon, you better pick your side and pick it carefully because people are getting tired of your, hapstances because he was spotted wearing the same, piece of jewelry as Justin Baldoni had worn. Keep in mind that Brandon had made it clear from the jump that he is a Blake Lively supporter. After the It Ends With Us star, who was part of the love triangle between Justin and Blake in the Colleen Hoover adaptation, wore an identical brooch to the one that Justin wore to the film's premiere. He addressed the wardrobe choice, saying it was a happenstance. I woke up in the morning and saw an article about it, and I was like, oh damn, I had no idea. Okay, Brandon.
Brandon Sklenar proves once again what a spineless human being he is. And for anyone that was saying he's now Team Baldoni because he was wearing the same brooch as Justin, please watch this video. He is not Team Justin, he is a coward, and he's not even man enough to say Justin Baldoni's name.
Was there any special meaning behind that pin you wore last week?
Yeah, honestly, no. I wish I could say there was. That was a total happenstance. I woke up in the morning and saw an article, and I was like, "Oh damn!" I literally had no idea. I had an idea. I wanted to wear like a floral brooch of some kind, and that was the color I liked the best. And lo and behold, someone also wore that prior to me wearing it. So yeah.
Hey Brandon, that someone is actually Justin Baldoni. Oh, you forgot his name. Or maybe he's afraid that Blakey and Ryan will get mad at him if he says Justin's name, take away his pretty new toys. The whole I'm Mr. Switzerland now, the whole let's talk about what matters in the movie, let's not forget what matters, even though I never talked about it during our press tour of a movie months ago, all an act.
There's definitely something fishy going on with Brandon, especially compared to the rest of the cast from this movie. Now, Brandon has found himself between his two co-stars and tense legal battle, which began after Blake filed a complaint against Justin. Last month, Brandon was asked during a CBS Mornings interview whether he was Team Blake or Team Justin, and he asserted that he was Team It Ends With Us. He continued, I just want people to remember why we made this movie in the first place and what it stands for. Well, that wasn't really his take in the press tour. He was, again, on Blake's side. So I don't know where Brandon stands. I think he's just trying to save his face in Hollywood and his career. However, shortly after Blake filed her initial complaint, the star had shown his support to her. Brandon supported her by sharing a link to the document through his social media and tagging her with a red heart emoji, adding to his fans, for the love of God, read this. That is insane. So he's totally Team Blake because he literally shared to his tons of followers a link so they can go and read her complaint about Justin, which he says is completely fabricated. So clearly he's chosen his side. It's made that very clear.
What made it so easy to fall in love on screen?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, we didn't really talk about it.
You could tell her.
I mean, I could tell you it's...
You could say really nice things.
I'm just a really good actor, you know? I'm a really good actor. Everything was really challenging with Blake.
He had a mirror. It was weird. It was the off camera was instead of
I find it way easier to look at myself when I'm acting.
Obviously, I'd seen Brandon in his 1932, but I haven't seen him in anything. 23.
She's never seen it. She was revealed.
But man, seeing him as Atlas, I can't picture those two characters.
What's the movie about? Give me a plug.
It's about hope and love and overcoming a really difficult situation.
All right.
Very good.
There's something just incredibly insufferable. I can't handle it, but I want to hear what you guys think about Brandon in the comments below. Do you think he's really Team It Ends With Us movie? Because it's giving Blake. Let's get into Jay-Z. Now, Jay-Z has been trying to keep quiet, but you know what? We're paying attention to him. Jay-Z says that the Jane Doe who accused him of R-wording her in an explosive lawsuit knew full well that nothing ever happened, and now he's dragging her into court over it. The musician has now filed a lawsuit against this anonymous accuser and her attorney, Tony Busby. In the lawsuit obtained by TMZ, Jay says that his accuser kept pushing her false story in the media and in the courts despite admittedly knowing it was not true. Now, I remember hearing about this accuser. I believe, and again, don't quote me on this, I believe they said they had autism as well. I'm not entirely sure what their diagnosis is. We don't even really know who this accuser is. We might soon because of Jay-Z. But if this is true, which I'm not like jumping to Jay-Z's side. I mean, God, you know me. We're going to have to get into it first for a moment. But I'm trying to think. So if she did though lie about this, that's effed up. Like, I don't know if we can just say like, you know, because she's autism, like maybe that's what it is. But like also like just in general for like, you know, survivors and accusers, like this almost like kind of it. Well, obviously it goes into the Diddy case because it started with the Diddy case, and then it makes everyone else who has come forward look like maybe they could have been pushing their story as well. He claims that this Jane Doe told Tony Busby that he did not harm her and that the lawyer pushed her to go forward with this false narrative. So saying that the accuser told Tony, this attorney, but he didn't harm me, and then he said, you know, you don't know that, just say you did, so that he could get into trouble, of course, and to get a big payday. Jay-Z says the whole thing was an evil conspiracy to get him to pay Tony a huge sum of money to keep the allegations quiet, even though Tony and the woman knew that they were pushing lies.
Why are y'all so quiet right now? Y'all was so loud and so wrong a couple of months ago. This MF needs to be disbarred. End of story. And I love the fact that Jay-Z stood on business. Why y'all hate the Carters so bad?
Jay-Z is standing down on his story, and he's even revealing how he found out the Jane Doe accuser lied about his involvement. A private investigator named Charlotte Henderson filed an affidavit Wednesday stating she met with the Jane Doe on February 21st, 2025 in the anonymous woman's home in Alabama, and during the meeting, she claimed that Tony had pushed me to include Jay in the lawsuit. According to documents, Jane said that she told Tony Busby that she had been R-worded by Diddy in 2000 and wanted to sue him, but Busby brought Jay into it. So pause. Are we? So we're including. So Diddy still did it. And so Diddy still did it. I thought the whole thing was a lie. I thought Jay-Z was trying to say it was all a lie, but Busby brought Jay-Z into it. She added, he was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him, like going against Jay-Z. Charlotte says that Jane Doe said that she did tell Tony Busby that Jay was at the party where where Diddy allegedly R-worded her, but plainly stated that he was not involved. But he was at this party. Still, Tony filed the lawsuit claiming that Jay and Diddy had harmed her. Subsequently, many media outlets exposed multiple inaccuracies in the woman's story. And as we reported, she dismissed her lawsuit last month. She did. And I think she did it with prejudice, so the lawsuit could never be brought up again. Charlotte, the private investigator's meeting with Jane Doe, came 1 week after that dismissal. She says that Jane Doe told her that Tony had to come to her shortly before filing that, and that Jay-Z was threatening to unalive her, and that's why she dropped it. Wait, what? So Tony Busby, the attorney, had come to her to tell her that she needs to go with this story that Jay-Z was threatening to kill her. Interesting. Charlotte says that she was not hired by Jay-Z or his attorneys to perform this investigation. She doesn't say who, if anyone, was paying her. Wait, what? This is such a so if he's not paying her, why is she even doing this? And how did she find out who the Jane Doe was? One more thing, another PI named Ian filed his own affidavit stating that he uncovered Jane Doe's history in a mental health facility and says that she was there just 90 days before Tony Busby sent a demand letter to Jay-Z on her behalf. So questioning the mental wellness of his client. As we reported, Jay is suing Mr. Tony for extortion, and just this week he also filed a separate lawsuit against Tony and Jane Doe. Tony tells TMZ that each assertion is a flat-out false and made-up lie. Jane Doe called referring counsel the Ava Law Group and alleged that she was harmed by Diddy and Jay-Z before her case was ever referred to their firm. So he claims that this lie was, if it is a lie, was created far before him. That's indisputable. In fact, we have obtained the actual intake sheet from the Ava Law Group's intake personnel where Jane Doe signed to be a client with them long before her case was ever sent to my firm. In that form created by their firm, it it shows who she was making those assertions against. Those investigators likely didn't know that the paper trail existed, and now he can prove them false. None of the actual documentation supports this false story that Jay-Z's team is trying to sell the public. Well, that's a mind F. I mean, to me, it sounds like maybe the Jane Doe did in fact lie, but this story about Jay-Z and Diddy, I mean, if it was in this document like far before Tony got to it, then that proves that he did not create that lie. So we're really going to have to pay attention to this one. Thank you for watching this clip from the Let's Get Into It podcast. To view the full episode, visit the link listed below.